So, like, what proportion of modern decks are just decks that somehow break mana values of cards? Asking for a friend. Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher here for a rare modern video, and today we are going to be cheating the mana costs on some cards, but in a fun way, not in the oh my god, it is the 900th grief slash solitude slash fury that is coming back sort of way. Well, let's take a look at what Austin has put together for us. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So this deck is going to be built around avoiding paying the traditional suspend costs of suspend cards. And a lot of times this is accomplished via Cascade, but you'll notice that we are kind of a base blue-red deck here that technically does have a few green sources in it. The primary thing that we're going to be looking to do is actually as Foretold. Once each turn, we can pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for a spell you cast with mana value X or less, where X is the number of time counters on as Foretold. So we can use this to actually just cast the suspend spells that get stuck in our hand, which is something that the Cascade decks traditionally can't do. And we're actually going to have another way to do that with one of these team-up cards, Baral and Kari Zev. It's a first strike and menace body. Whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell each turn, you can cast a spell with lesser mana value that shares a card type with it from your hand without paying its mana cost. And if you don't do that, you get a 2/1 Ragavan that gets haste until end of turn, which is pretty cool. So a lot of times we can do something like cast an expressive iteration and then go ahead and trigger this ability and, vomit some free card into play. We also have Electrodominance, which deals X damage to any target, and then we can cast a spell with mana value X or less from our hand without paying its mana cost. So this can be our removal spell alongside being a way to just draw 3 cards for free, or rip a creature out of our opponent's deck and put it onto the battlefield. We have one last way to kind of cheat the mana costs here, which is with Arcane Proxy, which is sort of like a pseudo Snapcaster Mage. We can cast it with Prototype for 3 mana, and then it's a 2/1 instead of a 4/3. When it ETBs, if you cast it, exile target instant or sorcery card with mana value less than or equal to its power from your graveyard, copy it, and you can cast it without paying its mana cost. So we are all about cheating today. We are not trying to play fair Magic, we are trying to cast spells that normally have suspend for without suspending them. Also, this is modern, so we get to play with Ragavan again, which makes these 3-drops that normally might be a little slow effectively into 2-drop plays. Huge thumbs up here. The sideboard has cards that you're probably used to seeing from Legacy, except maybe Subtlety and Flame Blitz. So I'm not 100% sure on why Flame Blitz is here as sort of an outsider to Modern. My guess is that Teferi Time Raveler is kind of a kick in the teeth for this deck in messing with the timings of when you can cast some of these spells. So it's my guess that that's why that's there. Yeah, so with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into some matches here. If you like this deck and you want to buy the cards for one of your local events, check out toamagic.com. That's Tales of Adventure. And you can use promo code ThrabenU to save 5% on your order while you do so. Also, if you're going to any major events based in the US, they're probably going to be there, and you can do online pickup ahead of time and save some hassle. Or online order and then pick up on site. All right, let's battle. All right, I have sort of a medium looking hand here. I have a piece of interaction. I have an expressive iteration that is maybe not going to be the best here. What am I really looking for in an opening hand? Ragavan Preordain, Suspend, Crushing Footfalls. Until I have more data on the deck, I'm just going to keep this and see how it feels. I think I am just going to suspend the Ancestral Visions here, rather than try to cheat it from my hand. See what my opponent's up to over there. All right, this goes down. I have a draw step stop set for some reason. I think I'm just passing the turn here with the intention of end of turn, do a Surveil land, and then probably play EI on my next turn. So my opponent revealed a Gigantha companion. Until that Tarmogoyf hit, I wasn't exactly sure what I would be looking for. Okay. Tarmogoyf is fine. We can Flame Slash that at this current time. So let's Surveil. Don't need that. Oh, that's awkward, isn't it? That's incredibly awkward. So there's no sorcery in the graveyard right now. And if I put this instant in there, Tarmogoyf goes up to 4 toughness. If I Flame Slash it, Tarmogoyf will be at 5 toughness when state-based effects are checked. Absolutely fucking tragic. Huh, okay. Alright. That was not on my bingo board of things that were going to happen today. Alright. So hit that, and you can kind of see briefly that it flashes to 4 while it is still in play. Yeah, so my Surveil land didn't really get to do its nice surveil-y thing here. Alright, hopefully I can use Expressive Iteration to make my land drop here. I don't think I am just going to immediately Flame Slash this. I think I am going to try to hit my next land drop. It feels like a big deal. So I will put the Preordain into my hand. I'll put this on the bottom of library. I'll exile this, play this from exile, and fetch. Basic Mountain's fine. I don't think we need green most games. So let's just go ahead and Flame Slash this, call it a turn. I get to refuel with Ancestral next turn, and then hopefully just do some cool Electrodominance thing. A Pyrite Spellbomb, which my opponent immediately uses to draw a card. Thoughtseize is fine. That is not going to line up well versus what I'm doing. Although sort of annoyingly, my opponent does not end up putting... Okay, they just concede. Putting something into play that lets me kill something with Electrodominance. So my opponent is playing green-black dudes. I can see Unlicensed Hearse being okay to keep Tarmogoyfs in red removal range. I can see doing some sort of Blood Moon Nature's Claim EE type thing to help keep Urza Saga in check. How good is Inevitable Betrayal? Tarmogoyf-sized card is maybe not overly exciting. I'll kick myself if my opponent is like doing some reanimation type stuff, but I didn't see anything that suggests that. Subtlety feels expendable. Force of Negation feels expendable. I think I just want a larger pile of interact with things in play plan. Do I want to Moon? Blood Moon stops every Urza Saga, but I have a lot of stuff that I already want to be doing on 3 mana. I don't know, this is where I don't have the modern reps to know what my opponent is doing and how I should approach this. I am boarding in 3 more of these 7 cards, that much I know. I think I like EE as an additional thing to deal with the creatures. I think I'll play... Blood Moon's really slow in the draw. Maybe I'll just play 2 Nature's Claim. And then I don't have to worry about fetching basics this game. And then if I go to a game 3 where I'm on the play and I can just slam a turn 2 Blood Moon, I like that a lot better. This does not have mana. Easy mulligan. This one's tougher. I think I can probably keep this. I'm on the draw, I get a couple looks at land, I can preordain my way to a land if I need to. Fantastic, don't need to. So we need to grab green mana here. That's looking like a breeding pool to me. And let's suspend. Imagine we're going to see a end of turn Surveil land. I am correct. Oh, it is just straight up Jund, and I just didn't see the red last game. Understood. Ren and 6. Got it. I didn't bring in my magical Planeswalker Killy card. Hopefully that doesn't matter. Unlicensed Hearse really mitigates a lot of the power of this card. Basic fine. That's slightly awkward, but I think I'm okay with it. Alright. This is a target, right? Yeah. This does target. Yep. So bam, bam. Just say no to Renin 6 activations. And then we'll see what my opponent can do. Seems like something with a weird cost. It is a Fable. Sure. Now I would like to find like some removal. Hey, fantastic. Let's use this to find my next land drop. Bottom that. I want a land. I got a monkey anyway. I'll go ahead and take this turn to Flame Slash. I can hold up the hearse. My life total is not under duress, but missing the land drop's pretty bad. Alright. We'll just continue to eat these lands from the yard. Prevail's fine. We're still a little... We're still a little bit away from this Renin 6 ultimate, but it is going to sneak up on me. So I desperately would like to hit a land drop. Alright, a Nature's Claim goes to my hand. Nature Claim goes to bottom. I'll exile the Thundering Falls. I'll play the Thundering Falls. Another EI. It's good value. I don't know that I have time to cast that right now. We'll call it a turn. So I can Nature's Claim one of these, and then maybe Arcane Proxy, and get the other one. My opponent is pulling ahead on mana. I'm at 14. Let's remove this stop like I said I was going to. Ooh. That's annoying. This was how I was planning on dealing with the Renin 6. Land, get out. Planeswalker, get out. Yes. So if I am willing to take 2 points of damage, I could just Nature's Claim either Fable or Reflection of Kiki-Jiki immediately. Actually, maybe rather than Planeswalker, I should have taken this out because of the retrace. Oops. Yes. That's fine. Yep. Yeah, I removed Planeswalker specifically for Tarmogoyf purposes. Sure. That's a lot of power real fast. I think I'm more scared of this one. But I am quite far behind. This helps. This helps a lot. This is without paying the cost? Yes. So let's get a basic, probably basic island. This does not have flash. It feels like it should have flash. I will go ahead and cast this. Is 2 rhinos better than destroying Fable? Let's take the 2 rhinos. Alright. We have a gajillion D power, and I can use Hearse to keep Renin 6 from getting out of control. I'm pretty good at multi-blocks on creatures. This represents like some Urza Saga nonsense that I'll have to grind through. And we'll just go ahead and keep eating things from graveyards. Enchantment is gone. A new Arcane Proxy. So that gets rid of Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, which I think is priority 1. I wonder if my opponent has Bojuka Bog. This is where I just don't know the format. Alright, get rid of Reflection of Kiki-Jiki. Then I will, I think, still go ahead and suspend a new Crashing Footfalls. And I think I will just go ahead and chill defensively for the moment. I don't kill my opponent in 1 swing, and maybe not even 2. Sure, that's fine. That Tarmogoyf Molten Collapse, I guess. Seems good. But yeah, you can kill these, that's fine. Yep. Yeah, I can lose a Rhino. Multiple 5/6 Tarmogoyfs. Attacking is not the best for me. I can get rid of Enchantment out of the graveyard. Now they're 4/5s. Ooh. So this on 2 gets rid of unlicensed Hearse Tarmogoyf. Can I get rid of all... Or I can't really get rid of all the artifacts. Can't get rid of all the creatures. Can't get rid of all of the lands. Can't get rid of all of the sorceries. Then I'll just eat something from my opponent's graveyard here. So EE for 2. Crack EE for 2. Fine with going to combat. And just attacking for 12. I am now the beatdown, just in that one card. I think I am okay playing this out. It's vulnerable to like a Ragavan ping or whatever, or not a Ragavan, Ren and 6 ping. I think that's okay. Speak of the Devil? Yeah, that's fine. And we'll trade a little damage back and forth. This is leaving my opponent very low. It's yet another Tarmogoyf. This one's a 5/6. Let's see what dirty things I can do with an Expressive iteration. So this can go to my hand. This can go to the bottom. I'll send Preordain to exile and go ahead and cast that. Not interested in these cards right now. So I maybe should keep one of these cards in hand in case I like finally draw an As Foretold or whatever. I think I'm going to keep a Crashing Footfalls in hand in case I draw one of those enablers and then just hold back for the moment. I have reinforcements coming. My opponent's deck is cool. It's got a really good ability to grind. What the hell is this? Discard a card if you do draw 2 cards. Sure. Okay, and can give some stuff haste. Got it. I guess this is more Fable of the Mirror Breaker style card advantage. Sure. Alright, I lose a Rhino. I am at 8. Like, things can get scary here. I don't need to hold out for very long. Hey. Well, I can do this as an X equals 3 removal spell. This can immediately get... No, it can't immediately get an Urza Saga. Do I care about the large body? Or do I care about Urza Saga? My thing's trample. My opponent doesn't have very many artifacts. Oh, this can also hit Planeswalkers. Yeah, whatever. Alright. Let's Electrodominance and get more Rhinos. I'll go ahead and hold back for a minute. Naturally drawn Urza Saga. That's a little scary. Sure, that's fine. Gauntha goes to hand. Sure. So my plan is probably not attack this turn, but attack the following turn with a gajillion D Rhinos. This is weird. Do I suspend? I think I'll just keep it in hand again in case I draw one of the enablers. I don't have too long before Urza Saga tokens start outpacing my Rhinos is kind of the problem. Like, my opponent might just outgrind me, and like this represents getting those Urza Sagas back as well. Sure, that's fine. That's good value. They junk a Spell Bomb and pass the turn. Ticks down. Cool. So that lets me do my Crashing Footfalls this turn. So my opponent has what? 1, 2, 3. My opponent has 2 4/4s. The Urza Saga tokens cleanly trade with Rhinos. I am at 7 life, so this Tarmogoyf is a problem. I'm not swinging for lethal, which I guess means that I am just doing this. And we try to win next turn. We've got Rhinos. And we'll see if something like Shadow Spear starts to become a problem. And my opponent will make 2 sets of Urza Saga tokens. They get big. So I know my opponent has access to Pyrite Spellbomb. They showed that last game. I don't know what else is going to be there. Ringleaf Drum is whatever. Shadow Spear is very good. And then my opponent can just like return equip to a Tarmogoyf. Effectively put themselves at 19 life. Or more than that, they can equip a Construct token instead. They did not. Okay. So, stuff has to be blocked. I am at 7 life. So it takes 3 Rhinos to block and trade with these. Takes 3 Rhinos to block and trade with that. And then I take 2. That seems okay. Oh my god, I can't count. I thought I put 3 in front of both artifacts. Or no, I didn't have to. I did that right because of state-based effects. All right. Past Phil knew what he was talking about. That's the 4th Tarmogoyf, unfortunately. All right, now I get to refuel. Draw 3 cards. I will get to just play an Ancestral for free. So let's do this. Target myself. My opponent's at 20 again. I may just be conceding here. Electrodominance doesn't feel good enough. Let's bottom here. Got Electrodominance again. I've got 8 minutes on clock to my opponent's 15. I don't think I can puzzle through this. I'm going to go ahead and concede. We fell a little short there. So now that I know that I have like Fables to worry about as well, Nature's Claim looks really good. I think I'm not going to Blood Moon. I think my mana requirements are strict enough that it's a little rough to do that. My Ragavans are under the gun from the Ren and 6s. Maybe I should just do this and then like Ren and 6 is never recurring Urza Saga. I don't know to what extent you get to just cut Ragavan, but it's not really getting through. So I can go 1, 2, 3, and then I don't know, play 1 Blood Moon to round it out. To just like not play into a known recursive removal spell. This does not have enough mana. This has no mana. This has no mana. Okay. I will keep 4 of these cards. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. And hope to surveil into another land. That's just kind of the way this has got to be. Like, we can maybe get lucky, just draw an Ancestral and get out of this. Ugh. That's rough after mulliganing this deep. Let's surveil. This is my only surveil land. Nope. That is not what I am looking for. I mean, that'll do. That gets me to my next land drop. That gets me Rhinos next turn, assuming that I don't get Thought Seized. But life's bad. Expressive iteration from my deck. How dare you? How dare you? A Ragavan enters the exile zone, so they just drew a card for 2 mana. That gives up a treasure. I'm okay with that. Don't you Thought Seize me. I have so little left. Don't have green mana. Well, you know, I'm going to cast this. I'm just not happy about it. My opponent has a treasure machine on a stick and 1 basic already. Sort of comedic. Crashing Footfalls. That can be played. I don't think they can suspend it. Okay. Well, honestly, that's what's got to happen here for us to have any chance. We're kind of all in. We took away a source of treasure tokens. My opponent has another source of treasure tokens and can potentially like use Fable to copy it to not endanger it in attack steps to Rhinos. Sure. Oh, yeah. I will get some green mana here. This is a beating. Oh, what the hell was that? Sure. This might just be the point where we concede. My opponent has all the resources in the world. I have 0 cards available. I am okay throwing in the towel there. That was an absolute beating in that last game. Today's video is sponsored by TopDeck.gg. They're an awesome company that runs an awesome tournament series. If you would like to play for prizes such as Time Twister, check out the Top Deck Championship Series. It's run using their patented Command Tower software, which is awesome for EDH events, although you can use it for anything. Your players can scan QR codes and then get real-time standings and seamless pairings for their event. If you're looking to step up your local tournament game, check them out. All right, round 2. Hand seems keepable. It's a little awkward that my blue source enters tapped so that I can't do Preordain on turn 1 to work towards ensuring the 3rd land drop. But the upside of having the Surveil lands in the deck is worth the downside of something like this occasionally happening. We're probably going to Ancestral off of As Foretold on turn 3 anyway. I want more free things. I don't want more free things at the cost of not hitting my 3rd land drop. So let's just work on securing that no matter what. So that is going to start with a Preordain then. Bottom. That's not 3rd land drop, but it's pretty close. We are going to just regular cast that, and if that gets to attack successfully, cool. I have my third thing to Ancestral, and we can probably smooth things out from there. Dismember? Yeah, sure. What does Dismember indicate in this format? Is this Merfolk? Okay, despite aggressively gunning for lands all game, I do miss. This is a premium counterspell target. Yep. And now I would say my opponent is pulling ahead. And we'll see what they can do with that. EI is exposed to more counterspells than I think Ragavan is. I think I am going to attempt to dash this. This may end up baiting out some flash creature. Sure. You think I won't attack into this? I'm going in. We can trade. Okay, cool. All right. I'm actually pretty glad this is gone because this is just a mana tithe for every spell that I play. Sure. Yep. Creatures are big. I do hit another land, which is good. Let's just start going the as foretold route. Get another blue. All right. Free ancestral. Cool. We can make this work. Is one counter each turn? Sure. God. So much Lord. Obero? What good is that? Unsure. Landfall Merfolk? Question mark, question mark, question mark. So I guess I can just do Electrodominance on 0 damage to this Master of the Pearl Trident to just kill it. Is this from hand? It's not. Cool. What can I fetch that does not deal me damage here? Just island? I need triple red. Okay. I need triple red for what I want to do here. So I am going to cast an EI. All right. 1 to hand, 1 to bottom, 1 to exile. I will Electrodominance this. I guess I can. I guess it's okay to Flame Slash though. So I can go ahead and Flame Slash one of these, and then Electrodominance this, and that's fine. Okay, sure. But I still die, right? So Electrodominance, red, kill this. These are 3/3s. I still get attacked for 6 because I needed the 3rd red mana. It was no good. Yeah, I cost myself this one by not playing EI first. If I play EI first, I can get this Wooded Foothills, play it from exile, and be at 2 higher life and survive for another turn. I punted this one. Then I draw an Ancestral next turn, which gets me into 3 more cards. I can double. Yeah, I punted this one. That's on me. I like an EE here. That's maybe about it. I can maybe Subtlety just for tempo. I might just need that to buy some time. I don't know that I'm the most excited about Force of Negation specifically. And my opponent's creatures are merfolk, so we don't need to take them. They're bad. Is there maybe one of the, like, indestructible merfolk? That one could maybe be relevant. I could also just fill with 1 Nature's Claim, anticipating some amount of enchantment-based nonsense in my opponent's 75 somewhere. I'll play 1 Nature's Claim. There's probably at least Aether Vial over there. 2 land drops. I have a removal spell. 2 removal spells even. This is fine. We'll do the Surveil land on turn 1 here. Alright, let's see what's up. Electrodominance, Crashing Footfalls is a thing. We'll take that and assume that it will be good at some point. The merfolk are uncounterable. Tide Shaper, this is just a base 2/2. Sure. So, yeah. We can just do 0 damage to this target. So that's just wrong, right? You let me cast the Footfalls and then you counter that, right? All the 0 cost things are non-creatures that Force of Negation would hit? Weird. I have a lot of Flame Slash. Let's find our next land drop, and look 3 deep for it. Sure. So this goes to my hand, this goes to bottom, this goes to exile. I will pay the life for this. It's totally fine to just Flame Slash to clear the board. I just have 2 more. Oh, right. Electrodominance is also any target. I guess I can also just target face if there's no creatures in play. That really hadn't occurred to me until now. Sure. With the fetch land, that's a little weird. I maybe should not have played that immediately. No. Yes. This is also an instant. Kind of want to fetch and play Preordain on my own turn. So let's not do it as an instant. This, I guess, plays into Force of Negation, though. Alright. Cast my Rhinos. Now I can Preordain. Just off an island is fine. No. Very much yes. So now that just gives me 10 power next turn when I cast it for 3 mana. That seems pretty decent. This is fine right now. I guess I am slightly afraid of my opponent gaining Island Walk and racing what I'm doing. But double Flame Slash and Arcane Proxy probably make it so that that doesn't happen. Sure. I'll go ahead and just attack for my 8 now. See if my opponent has any sort of resources to expend on these Rhinos. They don't. I think the order that I want to do this is just Flame Slash this now. And then just go for this with Prototype. We will go for more Rhinos. And go for it. Sure. That's fine. So my opponent can then sacrifice this or another Merfolk to trade with half of Arcane Proxy. Sure. And I cannot pay the 1. Vial goes up to 3. And my opponent's on the defensive. Well, first thing, pre-combat, I'm just going to kill that. And I think I will stay aggressive here. I assume that something happens here. Yeah, so my opponent can tap down one of these Tramplers. That's fine. I think I'm still the beatdown since I have this first attack step here. It's a little close. Opponent gets hit for 6. I'll suspend one of these and hold the other for if I get some sort of thing that lets me cast them. All right, what are we working with? Kira, Great Glass Spinner. So my removal spells are essentially shut off. Sure. Are you attacking? You are. You also believe that you are the beatdown. I have 2 4/4 Tramplers, though. We'll see how that plays out in practice. This also gives me multiple blockers for next turn. I think since 4+2 is 6, I have to attack with all of these. I could play As Foretold first. I don't think As Foretold is getting countered. Tidebinder just does nothing, it's just a body. It can trade with a Rhino. Then my opponent also needs to block here, take 4, go to 2. And then this is out of play for the Spell Pierce type effects. Or sorry, go to 1. Forgot about the extra trample damage. Yeah. And yeah. Alright, good enough for the concession. Feels like I've approximately sideboarded correctly. Again, I can think about a Nature's Claim. But I'm not sure that it's better than stuff that's already in my deck. I don't really know how important it is to actually remove Aether Vial. EE's good. As Foretold, Footfalls is fine. Arcane Proxy to get Rhinos back is fine. Nature's Claim for Vial is fine. Fantastic. Am I fetching green or red? Like, I'm always fetching green, but like, what is the secondary color? I think it's blue for this. Yeah, I think this is green-blue. So we'll get our breeding pool. Nature's Claim this and hopefully slow our opponent down a bit. I would prefer to make Thundering Falls as my land drop next turn. Like, strong preference to doing so. Do I care about EEing that? It feels like no. It feels like I just use EE as a removal spell for a couple bodies. So let's cast a Preordain and see if this eats a Spell Pierce. It does not. We finally draw one of these. This seems fine to just take. I think I am going to bottom preordain, just take this, and go from here. Fourth land drop. Fourth land drop is play and crack EE in one turn. That's fine. I think at this point I am probably just ignoring the Aether Vials and dealing with the creatures as they hit play. I'll probably just get basics from here. I could use this turn as a bait turn and like Arcane Proxy, Nature's Claim, Aether Vial. That's so much worse than getting back a Crashing Footfalls. I'm gonna fetch. It's an island. I maybe just do this. Just treat this as bait. This is also pretty good bait though. Let's use this as bait. It is less value, but it keeps my opponent playing fair. Let's Nature's Claim this vial. Spell Pierce, yeah. Perfectly happy for that to not hit as Foretold. That was our whole goal with this turn. Was like not get as Foretold countered. And I think using one of these two cards to do that is just correct. Now I would love to draw like a Flame Slash to let me just fire this off without exposing as Foretold immediately to some sort of Force of Negation effect. This is now probably a 3/3. Like I should just assume that my opponent has some Lord. I might not even get to block. Yeah. Yep, I'll take some damage here. Ragavan's kind of whatever. I'll fetch. It's a mountain. I think I am interested in jamming. We'll leave up the ability to cast the Ragavan. Alright, it's in play. Attempt Crashing Footfalls. Alright, it worked. Oh, wait. Turn off auto yields. I am fine attacking into this. My stuff can't block anyway right now. Alright. Got the damage. Cast a Ragavan. And next turn, I will EE for 2 and wipe out 2 or 3 permanents from my opponent. And it will probably be very good. File stays at 2. Is there more power added to the board immediately? There is. Is it Double Lord? Double Lord does kill me. Okay, I mean, my opponent is now Hellbent and had Flash Creature plus Double Lord, one of which was drawn for turn. So it goes. I potentially lose for not just playing EE and passing. Alright.
Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and honestly, they're just the best at what they do. If you need to keep your deck lists online, this is the way to do it. They have all sorts of different viewing options. You can condense that text if you like things to be tight. You can make them visual grids. You can put them in stacks. You've got all sorts of different ways to kind of view and visualize your deck lists. And they also have some really cool functionality, like allowing you to see playtest hands and even fully playtest your decks. So check them out.
Alright, my opponent has started with a Leyline of the Guild Pact in play. I've got a hand that can make 8 power on turn 2, assuming that I think it is safe to do so. Is it worth it tempo-wise when my opponent has 3 cards left for me to just subtlety this? Like subtlety pitch as Foretold, just make my opponent wait another turn to have their threat in play? Yeah, I think I'm into that. My opponent can now put this on the top or bottom. Their choice. They go with top. Ragavan. That is a great turn 1 draw. I am very happy with that. So we'll see what my opponent's got here. A Territorial Kavu, which is just straight up a 5/5 right now. This needs to be blue-red. Steam Vents. Electrodominance your face. For 0 points of damage, and attempt to make 8 power. Cool. And now you can decide who is the beatdown. This can attack into my rhinos. I know my opponent's got a Delver over there. There it is, 1 unknown card. My opponent's chilling, which gives me time to like do EE stuff, or EI stuff. Let's see what we hit here. Ooh. Footfalls can go into Oh no. I did this in a way where I didn't have access to single red mana unless I attack with Ragavan? That's fine, though, kind of. I guess this is going to hand. This is going to bottom. Oh, fuck, this is cast. Fuck, or play. So this goes to hand. I have to telegraph the Flame Slash then. So this goes to hand. This goes to bottom. That goes to exile. So now my opponent can see this coming. I have to attack with the Ragavan here to make what I want to happen work. My opponent knows they don't have to block now. I'm unsure if I am the beatdown, but I am going to go ahead and crash in. This doesn't make treasure on attack. I'm used to Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. Yeah, I fucked this up. This is a weird mind game. Alright. My opponent takes 8. Yeah, I got it in my own head here. I'm gonna do tapped Breeding Pool and pass the turn. I'm not happy with how I played this turn. My opponent have a survival land here? They do. Yeah, I think I just put Flame Slash to hand, give up some EI value, and wait a turn. Maybe take 3 from a flipped Delver. Delver does not flip. That's a boon for me. I have made just the world's worst smoothie. It's so bad. I don't know what I did wrong, but it is very frothy. What is that? Flame of Honor. Okay, this is a wizard. Checks out. I'll take 6. My opponent can nuke a Crashing Footfalls from my graveyard. Oh no, they don't. That's a pretty good bad card to loot away. Like that's fine. That makes sense. And Leyline Binding to cap things off. That game swung around fast. Well, that helps. If I put Flame Slash into my hand, I now would not have access to 2 rhinos this turn. So you win some, you lose some. Really weird for me to double block the Kavu. It's so bad against Leyline Binding. Delver does not flip, and my opponent drew the card. Yeah, so this potentially is an attempt for setting me up for a combat blowout. Okay, they did not get rid of my Crashing Footfalls. My opponent has 2 cards. This either means that they just have another threat and they're okay trading 1 for 1, or they have a removal spell and it's a blowout. I think since my Flame Slash doesn't clear this anyway, if I top deck one of those, I just do this and hope it's an attempt for a 1-for-1 trade, and that there's just a follow-up threat that I can maybe answer. It is a Leyline Binding, unfortunately. So I lose my Rhino, and my opponent has another threat. Okay, it was the worst timeline where they had both another threat and the removal spell. So I can cast this. I am probably just going to die in the air, though. I could use like an Ancestral off the top. Thankfully, this Delver is an absolute scumbag and is not flipping. Unfortunately, though, like my opponent is still drawing good cards because they're not fetching them away after looking at them with Delver. Yeah, so this is kind of the fear, right? Is like I can hold the ground versus the Kavu, but I potentially just die immediately to flyers. Land is not what I need here. An Electrodominance for X equals 3. That does not kill Murktide Regent, so that's not going to be good enough. My opponent also just has some card in hand that they wanted, but did not cast yet. Delver, impossible to flip, but my opponent is drawing good cards, so not great for the home team. I'm at 3, I'm dead to Lightning Bolt if that's something my opponent plays. Why are we not fetching away these lands? You have 3 fetch lands in play. Well, maybe I was giving my opponent a little bit too much credit here, but I am dead to Murktide Regent. What am I doing here? Curse is fine for Murktide Regent type cards. Nature's Claim is fine. For Leyline Binding on some of my stuff, not on the tokens. It can also get rid of the Leyline of the guild packs. I don't think I necessarily like Subtlety. Yeah, I think I'm looking at 5 cards. I think this is going... My opponent's stuff that I care about is largely creatures, so these can go. How is Inevitable Betrayal? A bunch of my opponent's creatures require like the ley lines or cards being exiled to be good. I think that can go. I think this is my 5. This is 4 pieces of the same side of the deck in a way that I don't like. I'm going to keep it anyway. Ragavan is strong. Hopefully it does not eat a turn 1 Leyline Binding. That would make me sad. Pay some life. Because I do need this card to get in there to make me my 3rd mana. Sure. Cool. We have potentially just dodged Leyline Binding. That's a great draw too. Send it. Ah. Alright, good old Ragavan is gone. I'm going to take some more damage to Electrodominance this turn. I want green for the future, probably. Alright, Electrodominance, target you. I think I am going to do this at sorcery speed and expose myself to Force of Negation rather than give my opponent the chance to untap and draw additional cards. I'm not sure what this format's heuristics are for that sort of stuff. I also don't know if I have, like, engineered explosives as something that I should expect from the opposing deck. Like, I don't know what their token answers are. Alright. This is great. I'll do combat first, though. I'm hoping to use EI to hit my next land drop. That's fine. I still, in theory, will get in for 4 points of damage here. And let's see if we can hit a land drop and maybe a little something extra. Yikes. So Ancestral is very good assuming that I hit a land drop. Preordain helps me get to said land drop. I have no pressure on the board. I think I am just going to choose the Ancestral. Preordain on bottom, exile Preordain. That's awkward. You know, it is what it is. And then we'll see an end of turn Surveil land, probably. Sure. Junking a Ragavan. Ragavan seems okay, but there's probably better draws here. Sure. I have no castables. I'm going to, like, attempt to believe in the deck and assume that I hit another EI, another land, another cantrip, or something to just unlock 4 of the cards in my hand. More Surveil? Question mark? Literal deck thinning? Literal deck thinning. So has my opponent just flooded out super badly? Or do they have, like, cards like Murktide Regent that are just situationally bad right now? Seems like flood. Okay, I mean, there's another cantrip. We're ahead on board, technically. Oh, such flood. They did not randomly spike a 3rd Leyline Binding there. Let's attempt an EI. I still do not hit any lands. I'm not sure if Dash Ragavan is better than Electrodominance to just Ancestral and draw 3. I think I am going to take this. Man, but that is a far below average set of EIs. I looked at 6 cards with those, plus 2 draw steps, and saw no land. Opponents got more lands. Surgical Extraction on the Footfalls. Guess what I don't have? Alright, there's a Flame of Honor with a single mode to deal 5 damage to my creature. That's fine. Is it Hearse or is it draw 3? Weirdly, I think it's just Hearse. Just keep my opponent's Murktide Regent from potentially being larger than a 3/3. And this can just get to 5 power and kill my opponent in one swing if I start setting it up this turn. Force of Negation, pitching Force of Negation. Yeah, my opponent just flooded out super, super badly and had Force of Negations. Sort of interesting that they didn't use them on Expressive Iteration. Like, my Expressive Iterations ended up being quite bad, but I don't really know that that's the average. Hearse will eat Flame, and I guess a Force of Negation, it doesn't super matter. Alright, it is a sad Murktide Regent from my opponent. Notably, it is a 4/4. I don't have access to triple red here, which I would like. My opponent's last card could be a Force of Negation. Like, they left 3 mana up, which that represents. I think I am just going to cast this. This is something that plays around Force of Negation and sets me up to do something kind of gross next turn.
Just a quick note, in case you haven't seen this. This is phrased whenever an instant or sorcery leaves your graveyard. So my unlicensed hearse gets slightly less good against their stuff. I can still remove lands or whatever perfectly fine. All right, Murktide Regent is on the defensive. This is 2 cards from a single graveyard. We're going to go ahead and just take the lands out of my graveyard to continue to grow this. So now we can actually do this. So let's attempt to Flame Slash Murktide Regent. I am going to go ahead and then cast this targeting me. Making the 2/1 to crew this is like also perfectly reasonable. But it does not feel like I am in a rush to end this game. What is this targeting? It is targeting the Flame Slash. You got it. I get to draw 3. This has Menace too. Sick. So let's go land drop. Go ahead and attempt an attack in. See if my opponent has some weird flash creature. Menace. All right. My opponent's at 3. Can use this as an opportunity to also resolve and as Foretold, which doesn't do anything immediately, but probably ends up doing some perfectly fine work. Sure. The lifelink there is annoying, as are the other keywords, honestly. So they're at 7. I can eat 2 cards from my graveyard and be perfectly happy with that. Pick this up. These are now hexproof. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Needs to be 8 for me to... I guess we're casting this with As Foretold, targeting myself. That will make me a 2/1. I'll draw 3 cards. So I can send 3 damage at face. Hexproof here is rough. I'm not sure that I beat this. Is there some weird Electrodominance my own attacker line? Where I like crew attack in with both creatures. I can't do it for 6. I can't do it for 4. Yeah, I think I'm going to die. Like, I can draw a bunch of cards. Okay, I know what I'm looking for now. I'm looking for something that takes out the ley line, that removes the lifelink, and trivializes this game. So I cast this, target myself. Okay, yeah, there's the Nature's Claim. That's what I needed. So there's the Nature's Claim for this ley line. So let's crew to this using Arcane Proxy. I'll make a random land drop. And I'll make my opponent figure out their blocks. And then attempt the Nature's Claim blowout. Okay, I'm more interested in killing this one. Nature's Claim the leyline. All right, fantastic. The first strike damage goes through. Regular damage goes through. My opponent is left with a Murktide. Apologies if you hear any mowing noises there. 1, 2, 3. I'll discard some fetch lands. Yeah. This doesn't go away? Oh, yeah, okay. It gains haste until end of turn. All right, so my opponent is chilling. I'll end of turn fetch out a land. I guess it can be a surveil land. No. So Electrodominance can go at face here. I can also dash a Ragavan. So I can just do a fireball for 4, which is like perfectly fine. Yep, so my opponent takes 4, putting them to 3, and I will, I guess, just Electrodominance on their upkeep. Oh, holy broken, Batman. This is each turn. We're not going to cast it for free, though. I guess I don't need to fetch prior to doing this. All right, X is 3, attempt lethal. I'm not going to make an extra one. I'll keep the untapped first mate Ragavan. Stubborn Denial. Sure. That's fine. I guess I could have cast a Ragavan for free on my own turn. Just cast at your face. Just, are you dead? I'll keep this first mate Ragavan. He's been around for a while. Yeah, we'll cast an EI. All right, cool. We nearly lost that game, despite my opponent's hand being absolutely terrible. I don't think I'm significantly changing anything here.
This is an okay opening hand. I'm not in love with the second copy of As Foretold, but I have a Ragavan as a good early play. I have a Nature's Claim to stop an opposing leyline. This is perfectly fine. Yeah, and we'll probably just Nature's Claim Delver, sure. So this time my opponent has an early threat. I think I just don't want a Scion to happen. And I want to make my opponent's mana more awkward. I think it is worth the damage here to just attempt to take this out. And we do. Both of us are getting low on clock, not to the point where I am worried about either one of us timing out. Force of Negation, good to know about. So I am at 14. That's good. I think I am interested in finding land drop 3? No, neither one of those is land drop 3. That is land drop 3. I'll play a Ragavan here. Oh, we are getting a response. It's a shock, so maybe just a lightning bolt style card. Double shock. Actual counterspell? Actual counterspell, sure. So it is possible that my opponent will not have a blue card to pitch to Force of Negation. I'm not going to say that it's likely, but it is possible. We don't see land drop 3. One of these, As Foretold, is just a bait spell here for this Force of Negation. Another counterspell? Another counterspell, sure. It is possible that we just get Delvered. Just our entire life total from this creature backed by 3 counterspells. This is scary. That's great. This is the most important card that I have. I don't have access to red, so I can't EI as bait and then Flame Slash, unfortunately. So I think I need to just do this to bait out the next counterspell. Okay. Draw 3 targeting me. It has resolved. And now hopefully I can Flame Slash and do something else broken next turn. These aren't untapped red mana for next turn. I'm just going to get rid of those. That is also not untapped red mana for next turn. All right. And when I say not untapped red mana for next turn, I mean, I don't think I can just take 3 life points worth of damage here. Oh my god, Tribal Flames. Sure. All right. This ticks up. This is my free spell. Target me. Oh my god. What a disaster. So if I cast Flame Slash, my opponent Force of Negations it, and I die. No, I have 1 basic mountain. Fuck. 2 life is so inconvenient. Am I gambling this entire match on whether or not one of their 2 unknown cards is blue? I don't think so. The thing is that if I EI and that gets forced, I also just lose. So I guess we are doing this, and this is a sorcery, unfortunately. Oh my god, it just worked. That was unexpected. Am I just going to die to Tribal Flames? Electrodominance is pretty mid. I'm going to try to do better than that. Alright, let's see if we're dead to Tribal Flames. My opponent could just have like 2 Scion of Dracos in hand that they can't cast. Dash Ragavan. Sorceries. I am dead. We were a turn away from stabilizing there, but that was a very below average draw 3 that just looked at 3 lands. Okay. Opening hand looks reasonable here. Turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 As Foretold, draw 3 is theoretically possible. Now my opponent has shocked and presumably left up like Lightning Bolt or Spell Pierce. I could just get Thundering Falls out of the way this turn and slow down this game a turn cycle. I think I'm okay with that. I don't know that I love that for a draw 3. I think I'm just going to get rid of that. I would do that for Rhinos. It is Consider. And my opponent likes their card. And we're just chilling. Force of Negation is kind of whatever. I am into attempting a Dash Ragavan this turn. We're in play. There's the Lightning Bolt that I played around last turn. Force of Negation does not counter that. And then I imagine we'll see a Surveil land end of turn. Oh, I probably need to buy Surveil lands for my EDH decks. Wait, I think Past Me did that. Yeah, I only have 1 multicolored EDH deck right now. Yeah, Pass Me did that. Good job, Pass Me. So I can Subtlety something like a Murktide Regent if that comes down. Yes? Yes? Why are we doing this? Are you going to play something that gets cheaper for each instant and sorcery, or is this just like fueling a Murktide Regent? What is going on? Yes. Phoenix? Well, it's awkward if Phoenix happens there. Demi Lich. How does this one work? You may cast Demi Lich from your graveyard by exiling 4 instants or sorcery cards. Okay, got it. That seems like it's worth the subtlety. Just throw that out of the way for a turn. That can go on top. More Thought Scour. Another Demi Lich. Or I guess it's the same Demi Lich, right? Alright, you got it. This is much worse without more instants and sorceries in the graveyard. That's not what I'm looking for here. I'm gonna shock this in. Do an As Foretold. I eat a Force of Negation. I can go ahead and make my attempt again next turn. Alright, I had to step away for a minute. Got something that I thought I could quickly resolve, and I can't. I'll take care of it after this game. Alright, opponent's got a tapped land. I get gut-shotted. Faithless Salvaging. Discard a card, draw a card with rebound. Okay, cool. Alright, so I know what's going on over there now. My opponent goes for a Thought Scour and casts it. Things are not too scary. I would like to find a Flame Slash to kill this. EI and As Foretold both look at multiple cards. I think I'm going to ignore green mana. Cast an As Foretold. Ancestral targeting me. Did not find Flame Slash. I think I am going to play a Ragavan with the hope that my opponent uses their Demi-Lich card to remove the Ragavan rather than sending a lightning bolt at my face. Sure, rebound's fine. Okay, there is an Arclight Phoenix, so if my opponent casts 3 or more instants and sorceries, they can return it from the graveyard to the battlefield. What does my graveyard hate look like in this deck? Curse is the answer. Okay. Sure. Guard a card or sacrifice a land. If you do, draw 2 cards. Okay, got it. There's 2. I haven't seen another Phoenix yet, which I guess is lucky. That's 3. So Phoenixes are going to come back. We'll see which spell my opponent does with the Demi-Lich. It is Lightning Bolt. That can just go at my face. And then Arclight Phoenix ends me next turn. Yeah, seems good. The Ragavan is forced to chump block for some life. And I'm going to need multiple spells here to stay alive. Baral and Kari Zev plus As Foretold. Let's go free with this. No. No. That's not what we're looking for. Let's do this. Arcane Proxy? I don't have a removal spell in there that I can actively use. I've used As Foretold. This is not going to do it. I am dead to the Arclight Phoenix in the air. Alright, unfortunate. So I am interested in the hearse. That seems good. Not interested in any of this stuff. This stuff is like minorly okay. I can use Spell Pierce to try to stop like Metamorphose Chains or something. Inevitable Betrayal could get me my own Demi-Lich. It feels like I already have enough of that sort of stuff going on. Saw that Subtlety is not particularly good. So this is 2 hearse. I think I want both Spell Pierces. Force of Negation does not exactly seem amazing. It might just be one of those things that I'm playing to kind of round out the deck. Okay, so this has Unlicensed Hearse, which feels like an incredibly good card. There is some degree of risk here if my Ragavan just eats like a Gut Shot and then I don't draw another land. So like Gut Shot and Lightning Bolt are good against this. It's fine if it's removed as long as I hit a land drop to resolve this Hearse. So fingers crossed. Okay, I did hit a land. It's not my ideal land or anything, but okay. but we'll take it. Bolt is fine. I'll make my next land drop. I'm not interested in that. I am interested in natural land drops. Resolving this card is a really big deal. Alright, we're getting some, presumably 2-mana looting card here. Nope, just a Preordain with some weird timing. A lot of times you want to fetch before Preordain for the instances where you want to top. Cool. I would prefer this to be green mana, but I'll take it. I am just going to jam. Sure. There's a Phoenix in there. Do you have a Force of Negation? They do have a Force of Negation, which is most unfortunate for me. It's possible that I just get run over now. I can just jam my own rhinos on my turn to present my own clock. I was trying to stop their combo aspect of their deck. Got a little lucky there. Seems okay to deal the extra damage to their face? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Alright. Cast rhinos. Have rhinos. My opponent's at 12 due to self-damage from fetching and shocking. Okay, that ended up working out. Feels like I got a little lucky for things to go that smoothly, though. So I have turn 1 Ragavan, turn 2 As Foretold into Ancestral, if everything goes the way that I want it to. I don't have any interaction for what my opponent is doing. Is that fine? Probably. I don't actually have that many things that interact with my opponent, so keeping something that goldfishes quickly is maybe fine. Okay. And that's another thing to do. I think I can just get a basic here and attempt to at least save the life. Alright, Ragavan did not immediately eat Lightning Bolt. That does not mean that my opponent does not have one, though. Like, we should not get excited here. And now we're probably going to see a string of cantrips. Sure, am I getting bolted? Sure feels like I'm getting bolted. Let's find out. I am getting bolted. I don't think I'm interested in using Electrodominance to just draw 3. I think I'm chilling. I can decide to do that at the end of my opponent's turn, if I feel like it's necessary. Extra looks at something like Unlicensed Hearse is perfectly reasonable. Yeah. Let's do the green-red here. I think that's worth the life. Attempt end of turn. Electrodominance. Ancestral target me. Okay, it just worked, but I drew absolute fucking garbage. I guess I get to try again. See if this resolves. That's fine. There's a Phoenix. This is in play. Ancestral target me. Please draw rhinos. F. Okay. Well, I guess discard a land. So I am quite afraid here. Is this equal or less? Or less? Lesser. Okay. There's 2 Phoenixes in the graveyard as of right now. I'm likely to take at least 6 points of damage this turn. I can Flame Slash my way out, but that's not really where I would like to end up. I would really prefer to do something more unfair on my own end. There's a Demi-Lich as well. Rough. So there's that. Oh god, a second one from hand. And 2 Phoenixes. Where's my fucking anger of the gods? Where is it? I'm at 10. Put a counter on this. Additional copies of As Foretold are like 100% not what I am looking for. So, yeah. Cast with As Foretold. Kill a Demi-Lich. Make my monkey. Flame Slash the other Demi-Lich. My monkey can attack for 2. And then we hope to draw well and string some stuff together to kill the Arclight Phoenixes. I can Flame Slash the Arclight Phoenixes, but the problem with doing that is the Demi-Liches are just going to end up bringing them back immediately. The Demi-Liches are somewhat likely to just end up back in play this turn. So maybe I just need to end up with like an Ancestral into... I don't know. Not having more graveyard hate here is rough. So there's one. Okay, just one. I take 6. I'm at 4. That doesn't really get me anywhere meaningful. Like, I can use that to remove an Arclight Phoenix. Lightning Bolt in graveyard plus other Arclight Phoenix just means that I'm dead. I can use 4 mana. It'd have to be 5 mana to remove this, and then I can't get a Ragavan in there. Yeah, we end up a little bit short here. So I am dead for prizes, but I'm enjoying playing this deck, so I'm going to play out the last round. Alright, my opponent has taken a mulligan, and I'm going to do the same. My hand just doesn't do anything here. Do I... do I believe? I don't think I've connected with a Ragavan today yet. There's pretty high upside. Like, the hand is totally fine if Ragavan connects. The hand's totally fine if I draw a blue land. Black mana. I'm gonna lose the Ragavan. Hopefully this is an indication that my opponent is playing a slower, like, mid-range deck, though. And I will have time to draw into that blue mana. Yeah. I knew this was a risk in keeping the hand. It will just look at so many cards if I find a single blue source, though. Hey, a single blue source. Yes. Orcus Bowmaster is a thing in this format? Survey says yes. I'll be at 16 after this cantrip resolves. Is that fine? Just, like, take both. Take some damage from the orc. This seems fine. It's a problem if my opponent has, like, another Bowmasters beyond this. I'm going to use that Electrodominance card for just an honest purpose of dealing 1 damage to a creature. And then I'll preordain afterwards. 13. Sure. So this is an instant I can do this on my opponent's upkeep. Or in response to another Bowmaster. Alright. I outweighted my opponent here. So ping Bowmaster. Oh, I guess the timing of this is awkward, isn't it? The Bowmaster is still around. No, it's not awkward. Because this goes on the stack and then state-based effects are checked. Ooh. Do I want to subtlety that Orcish Bowmaster just as a tempo play? I don't want that. If I subtlety this and pitch my preordain, I then play this, and then maybe do EI into something broken. I'm not, like, the most excited about this, but I'm behind, and this gets a preordain out of my hand that would be awkward to cast anyway. So this is fine. Saves me a couple of points of life, makes my opponent use some more mana. Keeps them from playing something like a Fable of the Mirror Breaker that could otherwise be strong. Am I taking 2 or 3? I'm taking 2. A Douthie Voidwalker. That's good. Like, it's got Shadow. Ooh. I think I'm going to put an Expressive iteration under a Douthie Voidwalker somewhat awkwardly to have greater flexibility for how this turn cycle plays out. Alright, I'll put a Footfalls into my hand. Put a land on bottom. A land into exile. Play the land from exile. I think still Flame Slash the Douthie Voidwalker despite some negative synergy with this. I can take 3 more points of damage to potentially make some rhinos, but I'm going to draw a sorcery at some point to unleash the rhinos, or just draw an As Foretold. The same question as last turn, am I taking 2 or am I taking 3? 3. That's fine. I'm at 10, I'm at 7, I'm at 6. That's how that's going to play out. Sure. I think you take this card here. It's the guaranteed blocker. It's just if I rip away to do this from hand, it's devastating. Like, if I hit As Foretold and make 2 4/4s here, that's pretty tough to beat. Let's Surveil. Hey, remember that exact thing that I was just talking about? It happened. So we'll cast it and make 8 power. Now I'm at 6 life. My opponent has some creatures in their deck that have things like Shadow or maybe Menace that can make my blocking more awkward. Okay, yeah, there's a Shadow creature. That kills me in 2 turns. Hopefully I just top deck pretty well. EI in particular would be really good. Land is not. Can I attack for 4? That ever fine? Not really, I just die to a removal spell. Alright, I'm on the defensive. I'm going to go down to 3 from this attack. I'm going to go down to 2 from an end of turn surveil. And we'll see what else my opponent has. Just dead to bolt. Unfortunate. I would have gotten Electrodominance, which would have killed Dalthy Voidwalker. But the next few cards are trash. I'm never winning this one. Okay. Probably don't want Force of Negation. I'm probably not excited about Inevitable Betrayal. We just like never played against a large creature deck that is just trying to do something like Atraxa oriented. It's possible I also underestimate this card. I don't think I'm excited about just using this to get something like Bowmasters or Dalthy Voidwalker from my opponent's deck, though. I don't know, my Preordains aren't great. My Ragavans aren't great versus Bowmasters. I like EE. I think Hearse is probably fine as a card to bring into fill. I can play another Subtlety. I could attempt to Spell Pierce for Thoughtseize type interaction, but it feels like I just lose to my opponent playing a bunch of creatures. I don't think I am losing to their Thoughtseize type cards. I think this is fine when I'm on the play. When I'm on the draw, maybe like Ragavan or Preordain get worse enough that I make some changes. This hand doesn't do anything. It's just too clunky. Nope. We'll go to 5. This is fine. I think a Preordain goes back. Honestly, I think I'm going to put both Preordains back. I don't know, maybe I just expect to draw another land. Yeah, maybe I just expect to draw another land. I think I am going to lead on Ragavan. I have a weird lag burst. There it goes. I'll take some damage and cast my monkey friend. Removal spell or Thoughtseize? Fatal Push, removal spell. Got it. So I'm unfortunately going to deal some damage to myself. I think I am going to end up suspending this now. But if there's like an As Foretold here, maybe I change my mind. I think I'm going to say no to both of those. Preordain starts getting bad if my opponent can just play Bowmasters and punish that. I think I'm just going to bottom, and suspend. Subtlety not looking particularly good here. I expect to lose this game at this point. I know that's a funny thing to say on turn 2, but like I was already behind some cards and really needed that Ragavan to get me some card advantage. And it didn't happen. Maybe I need to not suspend this to play towards my highest upside draw, which is just ripping an As Foretold off the top. My opponent's got 8 dash Ragavan. So I've already taken 6 points of damage to my own stuff. My opponent hits my own Ragavan, and then theirs goes back to their hand. These tick down. I'll make my land drop and pass. I can do a Surveil at the end of my opponent's turn. But my opponent has a great opening this turn to resolve some problem permanent, a Fable of the Mirrorbreaker or whatever. Yeah, that's fine. So this Ragavan is just going to dash and avoid my sorcery speed removal, which my deck is built around. It's fine if I can get some rhinos into play, but that's a pretty big ask right now. 10. Damn it. Well, maybe it's not even that good right now. Like, there's other cards that I would prefer here. The rhinos aren't in hand. I would have lost them this turn if I did keep them in hand. No. Absolutely not. Down to 2. Okay. We'll take that, I suppose. That, in theory, stops the Ragavan, although, like, a Fatal Push or whatever can just take this off the board. It is a Fable. So that expends their treasure token. And it doesn't look like they have more lands from here, so they have more things stuck in hand than anything else. Maybe there's hope for me yet. My life total's low. I am out of resources. Oh my god, EI is literally the card that I was hoping to draw. Okay. So you're telling me there's a chance. So we'll EI, make a 2/1. I think first to hand, Steam Vents on bottom, Flame Slash to exile, Flame Slash this, and now I'll just hold back I think I'm holding back with both. Like, getting hit by a dashed Ragavan is a major pain in the butt right now. And I have so much power coming that I think as long as I don't loot away 2 Ragavans, okay. I think as long as I don't take any immediate damage in the short term, I have a pretty good chance at stabilizing the game. Again, there's some things like shadow creatures that are a problem. There's lightning bolts that can go to face. Like, there are problems here. But a 2-turn clock in the form of a bunch of rhinos goes a long way towards ignoring problems. A new fable. Got it. All right. So these rhinos finally come off of suspend. Cast. I'll keep my original first mate Ragavan. Thank you. The second unlicensed hearse is not really exciting here. I guess it's fine. Now, I think I am the beatdown, though. Ooh, we are getting tradesies. I was not expecting tradesies. So my opponent's at 12. And I'll play out both of my vehicles. I don't expect them to be insane. They might end up generating some annoyingly large blockers or attackers if this game goes on for a little while. And I guess they could also snipe something like a Kroxa that hits the graveyard. This plus some shadow creatures like Douthie Voidwalker could be annoying. Grief is a menace creature. It's gone. Strong opinions about Ragavan. Alright, 1 down. 2 down. Okay. That's annoying. It's not immediately doing anything. And is not maybe the best against some of my top decks. I don't know what I need to get rid of in terms of what my opponent can recur. I'm going to assume that for a Rakdos deck, it's easier to get creatures out of the yard than it is to get spells out of the yard. Blah. So now I need to hold this back. But I think I'm just going to fall short. My problem here is that this can activate on the other one. So my opponent can wait till my end step, just make a whole bunch of reflection of Kiki-Jikis and then attack with them and go wide of what I'm doing. This will also be bad, right? Like, copying a menace creature and attacking me for 6 per turn cycle is pretty annoying. And I just don't have sweepers in this deck. You know, I don't have some sort of Pyroclasm style card to just get me out of this spot. We'll eat some graveyards with these. I don't know what I need. But Preordain can help me figure that out. This gets me another body. That means blocks are on for Grief. No to both. Both of those cards are very bad right now. That is a removal spell for 1 damage right now, unfortunately, which doesn't answer any of this stuff. If I attack all out, my opponent can copy this, hit me for 6 guaranteed. The way that I win this might be a little cheeky. It might be attack for 8 with unlicensed hearse, Electrodominance my opponent's face, make a first mate Ragavan. Oh no, they can just copy this multiple times and attack me for 9 with menace. I am 1 mana off here. Yeah, I can't quite transition into being the beatdown. Fuck. Copying Grief can also just like check and see what's in my hand and make it so that they just know the coast is clear before they commit anything else. I sacrifice a non-token creature. So crew this with first mate Ragavan. And then I can sacrifice this. I'll eat some cards out of graveyard along the way. Sacrifice that. Alright, so now we see this. Then I will Electrodominance your face for 1 point of damage. Get a new first mate Ragavan. Now I'm not dead this turn, I just take 6 points of damage instead. Assuming that my opponent sends in with all 3. I guess they could just send in with 2 if they wanted, but that seems bad. Alright, so crew this using Baral and Kari Zev. Equal accomplishments. Lock the original. I'll eat some lands or whatever out of my graveyard. 1, 2. I'm at 2 facing multiple Reflection of Kiki-Jikis, and for the end of turn copy line that I talked about, like, I am already in pretty big trouble. Well, this is the sort of card that can bail me out of this situation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, potentially. I am thinking about whether or not I'm going to try to squeeze an attack in here. I think I have to if I am playing to win. This potentially represents a kill next turn, and I can just get a new Ragavan token immediately. And let's see how good this EI is. I don't think I care about the green mana, so I'm just going to keep better flexibility. Keep the untapped one, obviously. Rough. Creature to hand, land to bottom, land to exile, play land. This did not find anything that answers one of these, or even any playable non-land card. Okay. So that gets rid of that. My opponent can just swing in for 2 and kill me. So because I pushed the damage, I die this turn. Okay, it would not have mattered. I always die to that extra body, assuming my opponent goes all in. They lose the game if I have an instant speed removal spell here, because I remove 1, block 2, and then kill with this. But I don't have it. GG's. All right. So that was an 05 league. Some of that was on me. Some of that was on me not knowing the format, me not having optimal sequencing or optimal fetching. But I think the deck is a little clunky. And I think the deck is trying to play too many cute cards and not enough good cards. And what I mean by that is we have very few pieces of actual removal for things once they hit play. The idea is largely try to overpower things with rhinos. And we have a lot of endgame inevitability, but there were so many times where I was just like looking for a removal spell in the early game to try to actually get me to the late game engine that will work. And I think the deck just raw needs some actual factual lightning bolts or additional copies of Flame Slash to help get there. I think Baral and Kari Zev is not particularly good. Like, it has some utility, and the last game really showed that. But Electrodominance and As Foretold are Baral and Kari Zev, but with haste. You get to just do your thing now. And, like, you can grind out some cool value with this card. But if I were going to play another league with this, I would immediately cut the Inevitable Betrayals or move them to the sideboard. I'd probably junk Subtlety. I'd probably junk these. I would probably go up 1 Flame Slash, 4 Lightning Bolts, and then some other reasonable spell. I think that would be a starting point for where I wanted to go with this. Is Dreadhorde Arcanist legal in this format? It is. That's another card that I would consider here. So another problem that I have with this deck in the main deck is that you don't actually have that many creatures other than the rhinos. So, like, my Ragavans just didn't fucking get through today because I just don't have other creatures to eat the removal spells. So my opponent's Fatal Pushes or whatever get stuck in hand until I play something like a Ragavan, and then, like, this or this just kind of get killed on sight. I don't care when Arcane Proxy hits a removal spell, but, like, I feel like there is room for optimization in this deck list still. Let's take a look at this sideboard. The sideboard had relevant cards that I think were perfectly fine. Without playing more modern, I don't really know that I can comment too much. Although I will say, because the deck had so little removal, the EE felt insane. Maybe you can fit some sort of Pyroclasm effect into the sideboard. If you keep Baral and Kari Zev around, like, that sort of thing probably gets stronger, because it allows you to, like, oh, I'm going to Pyroclasm and then make a bunch of 4/4s. So I think that's what I have to say about this one. I'm going to thumbs up As Foretold. That card consistently felt good all day. I'm going to thumbs up Crashing Footfalls. But, you know, at the end of the day, why are we not just casting Shardless Agent into these things? You know, why do we want to do this strategy rather than, you know, have 8-ish 3-mana Cascade cards. And like Shardless Agent comes with 2 power, as Foretold doesn't. Violent Outburst comes with sometimes some extra combat in power. Sorry, extra power in combat, and can also be done end of turn. Electrodominance plus Rhinos confirmed good. Electrodominance plus Ancestral is like 2 cards to draw 3. That's not really the best value. So I think there's something here, and I hope I've given some constructive advice. If you want to mess around with As Foretold, check out toamagic.com and use promo code ThrabenU to save a little bit on your order. And folks, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya!